Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. Today we are using my HIMI MIYA Gouache palette again, and I'm so excited. I guess in my last video I talked about using this because I did a painting in this sketchbook and I saw that my first painting I did in it was made with my HIMI MIYA Gouache, which I hadn't used since. So today is the day. We'll see if we get any better this time, if we resolved some issues we had last time. If you are not subscribed already to my channel, please do. I post art videos whenever I can and I try real hard to post every week. Let's jump into it. Hello and welcome to a new portrait. This time I decided to incorporate a little bit of the sketching process because I have something to say about it. You know, it's easy to get attached to your sketch. You spend a lot of time on it, you want to start painting, and you don't want to erase it and start over. Well, sometimes you have to. This is what happened to me here. I liked the sketch, I felt like it captured the likeness of the reference image enough, and you know me, I just wanted to paint already. I had waited a lifetime to use my HIMI MIYA Gouache again, but then I realized one side of her face was way too wide. I don't know if it happens to you sometimes when you have a thought and you think that now that you thought about it, you can't ignore it or else you will be responsible for the consequences. Like when you're waiting for the bus and you finally see it coming, and then you suddenly think that maybe you left a bag of candy open, and maybe the cat will find them and eat them, and he'll get sick and maybe die. And you know that if you go check, you're going to miss the bus. But then, what if it happens for real? What if you come back home in a couple hours and find your cat very sick? Will not missing the bus this one time have been worth it? Of course not. That's when you realize you're going to miss the bus today. Well, something like this happened to me with this sketch. In a way less dramatic fashion, of course, but I knew what I could do to fix my drawing. As much as I didn't want to erase one whole side of the drawing, I knew I couldn't ignore the one thing that could make the final result better. So I did it. In the end, it only took a minute more and I didn't even miss the bus, but I still dreaded it. What I meant by this whole speech is that it's easy to get attached to our sketches and or get lazy. And it's always worth it to put in the extra effort before jumping into the painting part. And we are ready to finally start painting. Let's start with mixing a good skin tone. But wait, I forgot to erase my sketch. I thought about leaving it there, but it would just take a second to erase it. Okay, now let's start painting for real. One thing I learned when I painted my first gouache portrait is that it's super important to mix the colors right before putting them on paper. Last time I wasn't careful enough and I put in some colors that weren't perfect, thinking I could always put more colors on top to fix my mistakes. It turns out that painting with gouache was a bit more difficult than what I had anticipated. Putting wet layers on top of a dried, thick layer can reactivate said layer and mix the colors together, muddying them. This time I decided to be more careful and take more time mixing. I heard a couple artists here on YouTube say that when they paint with gouache, they almost spend more time mixing colors than painting. So I took my time and I think it paid off. Last time, my first layers were all very diluted. Some people do this to get a better idea on the placement of the colors and values. That's what I did last time and I decided to do it again this time. I had an additional goal, which was to see if the colors would spread a little like watercolor does. I was ready to embrace the potential mixing, spreading, and blooming. However, as you'll see, we didn't really get any of that. Maybe a bit of mixing, but not in places I wanted it to be. I guess I could have put more water on the background and in the hair to make them mix together, which could have produced a cool effect. But I didn't. It was kind of a passive goal, so I was passive about it. Next time though. I feel like I was able to get a good first skin color from the start. The first time I did a portrait with gouache, the color of the first skin layer wasn't right and I had to fight with it throughout the entire painting. This time around, I think getting the right base color was super helpful and I was able to start using some more intense colors in her face, such as bright oranges, purples, and greens, without making her skin look too weird. I really liked adding green in the shadows. It's my second time in a row doing this, and I love it so much. I like when you can see a tiny bit of green in a portrait when you look at it closely. I hear all the time that skin tones are made of so many colors, not just shades of yellows, pinks, and browns. I'm always super impressed when I can see that an artist used some blues, greens, purples in their portraits, but it's so hard to do. This time I made an effort to incorporate a wider variety of colors, and I'm very pleased with the result. I added a very bright orange in some places, especially on her neck, and that was daring. That said, I feel like I wouldn't have had these color options if the base skin color was wrong. I would have had to try to correct it like I did in that other gouache video.
Doing these studies is just such a relaxing and enriching experience because I can just focus on
Sometimes when I start feeling a bit lost in the ugly painting stage, I find that putting in a little bit of details can be really helpful. That's why I decided to add some contrast and some lines to the eyes, nostrils, ears, and eyebrows. It helps visualizing the final result better. Adding some details gives me a new sense of direction and it takes me out of the ugly painting slump. I might end up covering these newly added details in the end, but moving forward is the goal, and that's what it allows me to do in the moment. See? After that, I moved on to the earrings and I did some touch-ups on the skin. After that, I think I just moved along naturally without asking myself too many questions. I just went where the inspiration took me. Overall, I think this painting went much better than last time, which I repeat was my first time using gouache. So I think it's normal and I'm glad to see that I made some progress. I'm obviously looking forward to doing another portrait with gouache, see what I can come up with, see what I can do different and better maybe. And yeah, I think now I'm just going to leave you to enjoy the rest with some music. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like below, a comment, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to my channel. Oh, and it's been a while since I've talked about it, but I have an art Instagram page. The link is in the description. So take care, and I'll see you next time.